Let's see how to set up Visual Studio Code for C++ development on Windows 11. Let's start by opening our web browser. And let's go to code.visualstudio.com. Here we choose Docs and then C++. And our operating system is Windows, so I'll choose GCC on Windows. So first we need to install Visual Studio Code. I'll open the link in a new tab. And we're going to choose Windows, of course, and I'll go with the System Installer 64-bit. Visual Studio Code is being downloaded. Let's run the installer. And I'll use the default installation folder. Visual Studio Code was installed. Let's launch it. Let's get back to the documentation. And the next step is installing the C++ extension for VS Code. So in Visual Studio Code, let's open the Extensions tab. And here I'll search for C++. At the top of the results, you will probably find two different extensions. One is called C++, and the other is called C++ Extension Pack. Both of them are by Microsoft. But if we click on the extension pack, we can see that it includes a set of popular extensions for C++ development. And among them, we have the C++ extension, which is this extension. So let's just install the extension pack, as it includes everything we're going to need. So the C++ extension pack was installed. Let's close Visual Studio Code. And we can move on with the instructions. We now need the MinGW toolchain. So first, let's download MSys2, and they provided us with a direct download link. So I'll just click on it. And if we open our downloads, we can see here the MSys2 installer. Let's run it. Once again, I'll go with the default installation folder. And MSys2 was installed. Let's run it. We need to run this command, so let's copy it and paste it. We need to confirm, so let's press enter and yes. This will install all of the tools in the toolchain, such as the compiler and the debugger. This installation will take a few minutes, but shouldn't take more than 10. You might get this error during the installation that says operation too slow. If it happens, just run the command again. So enter and yes. Once the installation is done, we need to add MinGW to Windows path. So let's copy this text and click on the Windows Start menu, then look for the text we just copied. And here's the option we need, edit environment variables for your account. We need to choose the path variable, then click on edit. And unless you change the installation folder for MSys2, this is the folder we want. So let's copy it and paste it. We can now close MSys2 and let's check our installation of MinGW. So let's open the Windows terminal and let's run the first command. And if GCC was installed correctly, we should get back a valid version. And indeed we get a version. Let's do the same thing for G++. And here is its version, and for GDB. And we got a version for GDB as well. Let's run the same test from inside Visual Studio Code. So let's open Visual Studio Code. And let's open the built-in terminal. So from the menu, Terminal and New Terminal. And let's run the same commands. And you can see that it also works from inside Visual Studio Code. If it worked for you from the Windows terminal, but not from Visual Studio Code, just close Visual Studio Code and reopen it. Let's now create a folder for our C++ example project. I'll create it on my C drive. And let's now open this folder in Visual Studio Code. So from Visual Studio Code, let's click on File and Open Folder. And I'll choose the folder I just created. We are the authors of the files in this folder, so we should trust ourselves. And let's create a new file in our folder and call it helloworld.cpp. Let's copy the code. And let's save it. And now we can click on the play button and choose Run C++ file. Here we should choose the G++ option. And if we open the Terminal tab, we can see the output from our program. Hello C++ world from VS Code. Let's run the program again. And we got the same output again. We can also debug our program. To do that, let's add a breakpoint. And then instead of running our program, let's try to debug it. And we can see that the running of the program stopped at the breakpoint, and we can now hover over any variable and see its current value.